Welcome to the New Economy. What's next? My guest today is Duran Humes, Plato Alpha, and we're going to be talking development and technology, and you can see I'm already excited, so stay tuned. Welcome to the show, Duran. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Doing pretty good today.
It's good that we can finally, things are safe enough where we can finally do some in-person interviews. So I think you're my first in-person interview, outside of like staff of Arawak X. So welcome.
It's good to know. Good to be here. Thank you.
What does Plato Alpha do, and what's your role at Plato Alpha?
So Plato Alpha is a custom software development company.
Mm-hmm.
We build products and automation for different companies locally.
Okay.
And I am the CEO of Plato Alpha Design.
Very cool, very cool. So you're the big chief, the one that knows everything is going on. Can you give us an example of something that you guys built?
Well, recently we were partnered with Doctors Hospital to build up their COVID-19 portal. We have a few other projects in the works with them that will come out very shortly, but that was the main one that we just recently built.
Okay, cool, very cool. So when you're using that Doctors Hospital web portal, that's you.
Yes.
You guys are the engineers behind it.
100%.
Very, very cool. Why don't you also kind of, what's your background?
So I originally started programming when I was about 13 or 12.
Okay.
13, when we first started family computer.
Okay.
And I really wanted to create we call it Duran. So that's like.
Oh, so video games. You're a big gamer.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a big gamer. I haven't been able to do it, but.
No, you got a company to run.
I started with Unity 3D, C# and things like that.
Okay.
Just trying to build up. We call it Duran. And eventually stemmed out into web development.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in BTVI for a few months,
Mm-hmm.
I would go door to door to different businesses, selling them on building websites for them.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't make a whole lot of money doing that, but that was a good start for me.
It's a good start.
Entrepreneur.
And so you went, you literally went door to door, knocked on people's doors,
Yes.
and that's very good, very good. It's hard, but it's good. It's a good experience to have.
100%
Well, so you went door to door. You started with the web development, and then was this Plato Alpha, or was this just kind of you?
This is just me solo.
Okay. You're, for your audience at home, how old are you?
24 years old.
24. So we're seeing the beginnings of a tech entrepreneur here. So you got some sales experience, you've got some coding experience. How did Plato Alpha kind of come about?
So Plato Alpha came about when I was at Kill Bahamas. I was a software developer over there.
Okay.
And I was there with my coworker Keith Roy, who's now our COO.
Okay.
We decided to start the company pretty much in the heart of the pandemic. During the first week of the lockdown, essentially.
Wow.
Because at that time, we saw a lot of businesses needing to get their businesses online and pretty much start to accept payments, e-commerce, and things like that. So we saw an opportunity to say, hey, why not jump in?
Yeah.
And see what happens. So that's exactly what we did.
Very, very cool. Very cool. It's a business born in the heart of the pandemic. Arawak X, same thing. So I definitely understand some of the challenges that you probably went through. What's it like? Is the whole staff mainly coders, or is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So pretty much it's three of us right now.
Mm-hmm.
Myself, Keith, and Joanna Collins.
Mm-hmm.
Who's our new software developer.
Okay.
So the three of us actually are code monkeys all day for the most part when we're not working on the
No
business.
question. Question for you.
Right.
You have your cot underneath your desk. When your pillow and blanket underneath your desk. Are you guys that? I know. Sometimes you just get a fever going, and then you just code, and 15 hours goes by, and you gotta pass out somewhere, wake up, and keep going, right?
Basically.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I work from home, and pretty much I can come up from bed, go to my office like 2 feet, and then back to bed. So
I wish my business was like that. But no, it's what's important for people at home to understand is that every industry kind of has its own culture.
Right.
And one of the things, coding is, while it's technical, is a creative skill. And so when that creative bug hits you, you gotta use it. You can't sleep. I got a friend who's a coder, and like sometimes I don't hear from him for like 4 months. You know, he just goes down that hole, and it's like, hey, you still living? Yeah. We just coding something, you know. So it's exactly, you know, you want a beer? Yeah. But you know, it's. Why don't you talk a little bit about the challenges, because there's the what you do is you code, but then there's the business of finding, you know, people that are trying to go on, businesses that are trying to go online, helping them, walking them through that process. So say I'm a company, need some of your services, I recognize the need for it. What was the process? How would you dig into it?
Well, the first thing you do is come with your business and try to understand exactly what you're looking for, right? Because there's a lot of different avenues, a lot of different things you can be looking for. One company could want just to accept payments online. Another company could want to automate certain processes in their business.
What is automate processes? Why don't you break that down?
So let's say you have a company where you have a few tasks that someone would handle, right? They do this they follow these steps. So it's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4.
And they have to do that every time, right?
Every time. So that's something that can easily be automated, where software can handle that.
So instead of, you know, when you have to do twice as much work, you don't hire a second person, you have the computer do it, and then you can use that resource somewhere else in your business.
Exactly.
Say, as a customer service rep, or whatever.
So yes, like customer service rep, right? Where you can bring in, let's say, an IVR into your business. And that
now you're throwing out acronyms. IVR.
That is the automated robotic voice, pretty much when you call in the company, where press 1 for this option, press 2 for this option, so on and so forth. That would reduce the amount of calls that your customer service reps would have to handle, whereas now your customers can essentially service themselves.
Okay, so you know it's technology is a tool to be used to make your business processes better, and ultimately you'll see it at the bottom line, either through not necessarily staff reduction, because you'll find quickly that you'll need to use those staff in other places, but people will become a lot more productive. That's right. I think we're gonna take a commercial break, so stay tuned.
Hi, I'm the RC Rahming, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Arawak X. Arawak X is a fully regulated securities exchange in the Bahamas. We are the financial gateway to the Caribbean. We match investors with startups and high-growth companies over the internet. Come talk to us at Arawak X to learn more about our diverse portfolio.
Welcome back to The New Economy. I'm with Duran Humes from Plato Alpha, CEO of Plato Alpha, and we're talking about web development. We're talking a little bit of technology. This is how much has the pandemic demonstrated the importance of moving your business, at least partially online?
It's demonstrated a lot of that, mainly because pretty much every country on the planet was locked down for an extended period of time. There are some countries that were completely shut down for 2 years. Luckily, we didn't completely go to that. We had our spurts of a couple of weeks, couple of months of being completely locked down, but we didn't actually go through like 2 years of complete shutdown. But in terms of getting your business online, that I'm sure a lot of business owners came to the conclusion that it's very important to have other ways to interact with your customers besides just physically in person. They have to adapt or die.
That's the nature of business. You have to meet the customer's needs or you die. And so, what were some of the challenges? Did you have to convince businesses, or were businesses like running you down at first. Like I know before the pandemic, business, we've always done it this way. There's no need to change. Why rock the boat was kind of the general prevailing attitude. Did you see with COVID, people kind of understood now the importance of this stuff?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, we still had folks that were a bit stubborn in their ways that wanted to still do the same thing, but majority wanted to actually go ahead and adapt and try to find different ways to increase their revenue or at least hold on to the revenue that they were already making before the pandemic. So most businesses are adaptable.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, you talk about Doctors Hospital. You could share as much or as little as you want, but why don't you talk a little bit about some of the challenges when you go into a new business, and obviously you have to work intimately with the CEOs, the highest levels, and then bringing a product, a solution to their specific problem to market. Why don't you talk about that design cycle? Because some people just think, it's a computer, a magic box, you put it on the desk and it just works. And that's not how, it really is that level for many people.
Yeah, so pretty much when you're working on an organization, like you said, it's building those relationships and pretty much understanding exactly what they're looking for. And over time, you get a better understanding of how they would want the result, or what result they're looking for, essentially. And that's pretty much how we came up with that solution. They would have put out an RFP, we would have submitted a proposal for that, and we got the contract. So after that, we spent at least 2 weeks sitting down with the team to understand how this should work, how that should work, and we built up the product to their needs.
Very good, very cool, very cool. It's I can't stress enough, folks at home, just how this is a new type of business for our country. Not a lot of people are familiar with tech and web development of this kind, but the beautiful thing about it is that the web is international. It is all around us. So not only are those businesses able to reach out to their customers locally, but they can now go and find customers anywhere else. And international business is where the money's at, really. I mean, you got the United States right there. There's 330 million people. It's a big market, huge market, right? And you can reach across through the internet and connect with them. So why don't you do you have any thoughts on the future of your industry and obviously where you would like to take Plato Alpha?
Well, in terms of software development in the Bahamas, I can definitely see this industry here growing exponentially over time. So there are a lot of software developers who are just looking for a solid place to work, a solid place to grow. Because right now there's not a whole lot of opportunities, right? So that's a part of the reason why we started the company, to help provide those opportunities. And in terms of where we're taking Plato Alpha, we're taking Plato Alpha to be the #1 software company in the Bahamas.
Very cool, very cool. Do you have any regional designs?
Absolutely. So pretty much again, beyond the Bahamas, going towards the entire Caribbean and Latin America, South America, just trying to be #1.
Very cool, very cool. It's pretty interesting path you guys are on. It's nice to see other people in the tech space. These businesses are not easy to do, and they're not easy to monetize. But when you do get them done, they can be quite lucrative. And so it's good to see you on that path. Now, so we talked business. Where do you see the future going as the world moves out of this pandemic, COVID kind of phase? Do you see, obviously more businesses are going to shift online, but what do you think is going to happen? In 6 months, 12 months, 2 years?
I think there's still going to be a lot of new businesses forming, right? And we know that organizations like the SBDC, Bahamas Development Bank, they get a lot of businesses or persons that want to start businesses coming to them. So you can see that the volume is there. And a lot of folks want to do things on their own, which is a great thing to do. At least to just try it out for yourself and see how it turns out. And going beyond COVID, I believe like a lot of businesses will be more nimble because they see that now I can operate like this and still be at the same level of revenue or even higher in some cases. So now they're going to be a lot more nimble, a lot more technology focused. That they would have seen that it's very important.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. 100%. It's what we're able to do with 20 staff because we have the tech is you would take hundreds of people to do in the past, and so it's by leaning into technology's strong sides, which is that automation of tasks, which is anything that is by rote,
Right.
monotonous, right? Tech is perfect for it.
Exactly. But when it comes to the more complex tasks, you still have humans to actually handle those.
That's right. You got to pay them a little bit more, but it's. I guess the next question I have for you then is what. So how are you guys developing your business? Like, obviously increasing sales. Probably you're looking to hire new techs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. The main focus that we have now is obviously increasing sales.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we need to have a good customer base. We have a few great customers now, but obviously we want a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, we want to pretty much absorb the entire gaming market, if that's possible, which I believe it is, right? And we also have a product that we have out now, it's a HR product,
Mm-hmm.
that also will be a game changer to a lot of new businesses.
Okay. Why don't we take a break, and then after that, you can explain to people what that does.
Absolutely.
You hear about this Arawak X? All right, this is what you're gonna need. First thing is, we gotta go on their website. But to do that, you're gonna need a stable internet connection. You still have the neighbor Wi-Fi? All right, put it in my phone right quick. All right. Now this is the easy part. All right. Go to arawakx.com. Click Start Investing. Let's go to the Start Application process. Then you got to fill out the application and upload your KYC.
Why the internet moving so slow? Who all on this internet? I hope y'all didn't give that boy from around the corner the password no more.
I know what you're asking, right? What is KYC? That's chicken I know chicken in it. Anyway, that's the thing to make sure that you're a real person and like you ain't just trying to use it to wash money or nothing like that. So the application could take up to 3 days to approve. Why you acting like that long? How long your girl been waiting for you to marry up? From phone card time, bro. From phone card time. Once your application approved, they can send you the sign-in wipes. That's what I say. That's the same thing. Anyway, once you done sign in, you could start investing. They can still ask you a couple questions just so you can finish off your investor profile though. So this is the part right there. You need to figure out who you can invest your money in. You can invest in companies like Groove, Red Lobster, Grow, or my company. My company ain't on there yet, you see. We still waiting approval. Anyway, what you need to do now is click invest. Pay attention to all the information that pop up because all that is important. Make sure you write that down. Write down the account and the banking information and then place your order. Next, you get an email about risk awareness. That's just because they want you to know sometimes things don't go exactly how you want it to go. But they need you to be aware so that you could enter into the investment with both eyes open and so you don't get swing. Not like your girl who been waiting on you from the time you promised her a ring and then you spend the whole weekend in 601. You remember that then? Now you can pay for the wipe. The information, it can pop up on the screen, right? And then you got to use that information to pay through like your bank or Sun Cash or wire transfer if you fancy. If you fancy. Then send proof that you pay to the email Sometimes it's a download receipt button, but if not, just screenshot it. Then you should get a pending message while the money getting processed. You could always call if you have any questions.
Arawak X opens frontier and emerging markets where you can discover innovative companies that have high growth potential. We support initiatives that promote financial inclusion and social justice through equal access to investment opportunities and capital. Come talk to us at Arawak X to learn more about our diverse portfolio.
Welcome back. Sitting here with Duran Humes, CEO of Plato Alpha. And before the break, you were talking about you guys have developed this HR payroll product. So you do development for businesses and their specific needs, but this is the one that you guys in-house product. Okay. How did you get into HR? How did this come about?
Well, again, this is another thing that we saw in a lot of businesses and a lot of our clients that we've worked with in the past, is that they needed HR payroll services. And the only real option here is one vendor, and they've been around for a while. Besides that, there's spreadsheets, and if you're a large enough company, you can pay a foreign company to build it out for you.
Okay.
So there's a lot of businesses that are in between that can't afford those services or don't want to use the one vendor that's here.
Okay. So you found a hole in the market with this HR payroll services, and then you developed a what exactly is it?
Right now, it's a web application.
So a web application. So somebody, the HR payroll person in an organization, signs in, and then is able to do that function.
HR payroll business.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. What how has that been like? What's the uptake of that been?
The uptake has been good. We're still in the post-launch phase, I should say.
Okay.
So getting it into these different organizations and convincing them that, hey, this is what you should be using. That's the hurdle that we're getting over right now. We have a few customers that are coming on board, essentially. They're on board.
Okay. So so it's launched, it's live, it's active. Walk us through some of the features. Take us through your sales pitch.
So one of our main features that we have is the payroll process.
Okay.
Where now you can have your employees sign into the platform with the timesheets, with the time loss, so on and so forth. The managers can approve those. And you can essentially manage your entire organization as it relates to HR payroll through that one platform. Whereas now, there's a lot of businesses we've seen have at least 2 or 3 different pieces of software, which again is very inefficient. So now just having one software where you can have all the employee data in one centralized place and conduct all your business. That's a very
and you say your target market is the small to medium-sized companies.
Yes.
I imagine when you get to a large company, you need to use Microsoft Dynamics, you need to use those kinds of
Office 365 and so on.
Yeah, but that's really, you have to have a lot of employees to be dealing with that type of stuff. So what's the target for you guys? When you say small company, define small company.
So pretty much we're looking at companies that are ideally above 50 employees, because that is what we've noticed when things start to get a little bit tough in terms of
it gets crazy, especially if you're doing part-time or, like you say, punching in and out.
Yes.
So I know people at home, HR is not what people normally like to talk about outside of the drama, the sip in the around the water cooler. But all of those people that work in an organization got to get paid, and they want to get paid on time. And so by having this kind of tool, it makes the HR person's job a little bit easier, so they can now focus on the human side of HR, which is the making sure that people get their sick slips, making sure that they are properly trained, making sure the other stuff besides this, because this is the monotonous part of their job. So that's really, really cool. Where can they find this product?
You can find it at triblockhr.com.
Triblock HR, is that the name of? Okay. Okay, very cool, very cool. So that's the value add of time. Are you guys looking at expanding that product?
Absolutely. So we have a few features that are in the pipeline
Mhm.
that we are working on currently.
Like, could you briefly? Yeah.
So like performance management.
Okay.
Whereas I'm sure a lot of businesses know what performance management is.
Mhm.
Pretty much you get your reviews at the end of the year, every 6 months, and so forth. We also have an applicant tracking system that we're building as well.
Okay.
Whereas you as a company can now post your jobs online, persons can respond to those online.
Okay. How's what's the pricing look like on that? Like, what's the pricing model on that? Is it subscription? Okay. Okay. So every month, or do you guys bill annually, semi-annually?
Monthly, quarterly, and annually.
Okay. Okay. And then I imagine you pay more for the annual.
We pay less for that.
You pay less for the annual, and then more as you do it more frequently.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
And that's mainly just to lower the barrier to entry. Because again, with software, it can get expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing a subscription model, it's lower to enter and get that software.
Mm-hmm. And then you don't have to worry about you guys are taking care of all the updates, the security features.
Updates, support, you can call us at any time, and support.
You know, it's interesting because this is important because a lot of people think it is just a computer you put on the desk, you buy the software once, and then, when things break, which they do, right? All the time. You don't have the support, or you don't have the, you're talking web applications, so if you try to do anything on the web, when this kind of hacker comes in and finds that one hole, you're kind of screwed. It's maintaining a system like that is a lot of work.
It is, especially when we're talking about payroll. That's a very important, very high risk, I guess you would say, portion of an application.
So why don't we talk a little bit about how you guys do security? Because now you're talking, we're getting into the scary parts of technology, which is security, data protection.
Absolutely. So a lot of our software, we build it with security in mind. That's pretty much our first thought. And we do certain things that we won't go too deep into.
No, you can't. But
that make sure that even if someone were to, let's say, get the data, they still can't do anything with it.
So you guys encrypt different types of encryption. I think encryption. I'm just looking at my marketing guy who knows. Okay, encryption is basically you put the data through some process that makes it garbled. So when you send that data across the internet, and if someone were to find it, it would just look like a garbled mess. And then on the other end, someone has the key, that's what they're called, to de-encrypt it. So that's kind of standard internet security. But very cool, very cool. It's I don't often get technical people on the show, so I get to nerd out a little bit here. Do you have how can people reach you guys at Plato Alpha?
So you can reach us at our website, platoalpha.com, or via email, alpha@platoalpha.com.
alpha@platoalpha.com. Okay, and so you do custom work, you got this HR, any other projects on the drawing board that you feel free sharing, or or broadly? I know that you want to be careful, but there's very few people that can actually do this type of work in the town. That's the truth. But any advice for anybody looking to get in this business or considering getting in this business?
As it relates to getting into software, I would say to be good at what you do first off, and also to build relationships. Because obviously this is a small town.
Very small town.
And it's very circular in that way. Whereas you can meet one person that knows 3 or 4 people that you already know. So essentially building those relationships and being very good at what you do. Those are the 2 most important things that I can say.
Very good. Very wise words there. Duran Humes, CEO of Plato Alpha. We'll see you guys next time.